All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneurial Athlete Podcast. Today's a special one, y'all, because I have a childhood friend with me and as a guest today, and I'm really looking forward to our conversation. But before we do that, before I give Jada the opportunity to introduce herself to y'all, this is a podcast. First, my name is Phylesha. I am the host of today of this podcast. And this podcast is literally about former athletes turned entrepreneurs to share their journey, really to share the journey of how they went from being a former athlete to now having thriving businesses. And I want this platform to be inspirational, share strategies and all the things, everything in between. And so here we are, and I'm excited about this conversation. And so let me pass it over to Jada. Welcome to the show. I'm excited. Tell the people, give them a little bit of what do you do? What sport did you play? Things like that.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Jada Brown. I used to play basketball in college, and I am now a realtor in Ohio
Awesome. Awesome.
with Cole Banker.
And, and y'all, she's killing it. Just so you know, over in Ohio.
Thank you.
I'm no longer living in Ohio, but I've been seeing all of the posts, and you've been helping just a ton of people finding their home, and so we'll definitely get into that. But I'm doing this new thing where I want to ask a question to my guests to break the barrier a little bit, get you comfortable. You know, this is just a light environment. And I want to know what is like the one skill that helped that you learned from being a former basketball player, that helped to have a thriving like business and being a realtor.
Um, I have I have two. I feel like you just have to be disciplined and be consistent. And I feel like that helps with both, that helped with basketball. It helped with getting me to be able to play at the school, at the college that I wanted to play at. And with real estate, it's just you got to work hard. You have to work hard to be able to provide for your family, for yourself, and to get to that level of success that you are looking for.
Yep.
So I think definitely like just like I had to practice every day and sometimes twice a day, we you got to do that with real estate. It is never ending.
Ooh, that's for sure. And for the people like Jada and I, we play AAU basketball together. I mean, I've known you since what, 10?
Yeah.
We were babies. We were babies.
20 years in.
I know, right? It's crazy. I love that. So take us back, right? What was basketball always your thing? Like, because you play college basketball. So was basketball always your sport? You always knew that that's what you wanted to do?
Yes, basketball was always my sport. That was like my top or my number one sport. I always played like, I mean, obviously my parents got me into different things when I was a kid, but I definitely, basketball was just number one.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. Like I think so my mom put me into ballet when I was probably like 4, and no, that was not me. Like it was
Hmm.
like this mommy daughter type of ballet thing, and she said that I hated it. Like I hated it. And the moment that she put me into basketball, like she just knew like that was like your thing. So I,
Hmm.
I love that. That's something, anyways, basketball, it teaches you a lot, right? It teaches, of course, teamwork, being able to work in a team environment.
Hmm.
As far as like discipline, right? You have to go to practice even when you don't even want to. When you're exhausted, your body might be hurting, mentally, you're just not feeling it, but you got to
Hmm.
do it, right? And then of course, resiliency. I think when we like get blown out. Let me just say that scenario, right? You get blown out, right? You might even, it's playing times, but we had to go to practice the next day and we are just running constantly because we played terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like, okay, what are you going to do to bounce back? Right. And so for you, right, like let's now kind of talk about your journey in college, right? How was
Mm-hmm.
that experience for you playing at the college level?
Let's talk about being resilient because so I freshman year freshman year was good. Well, okay, let's skip. So sophomore year, you're coming in when I'm coming in as a freshman, you're learning the ropes. It's something new to you. You've never played college basketball before or been away from home for months and months at a time before. And that was something that I had to get used to. And then I got ready for my sophomore year, and right before the maybe like a week before the first practice, I tore my ACL in open gym, and I never had an injury like that was that long of a recovery process. And for whatever reason, mine was like way longer than it should be. So I missed the whole sophomore season. I missed the whole junior season, and then I was able to come back senior year. So that was like very like I could have quit after that. Like I didn't miss two of the four seasons that I possibly had. And and to me, like that kind of dropped my, I don't know, my will to play. I almost like, like that was a hard injury to just come back from and then play to try to attempt to play at the same level that you were playing at before, or and to continue on after basketball. So that was just not in my that was not in my visions after to play after college. So, but yeah, I mean, it ended up becoming the senior year was probably my best year, that I was able to play. Uh, and I don't know, it was good, but I definitely had that ACL injury.
Yeah, I mean, I personally have never experienced like any type of like knee injury that severe. But I hear mentally how hard it is. And so for you, right, you missed 2 years, right? That's a
Mhm.
long time. Look, if you were playing now, you'll be still in college. Like, I don't know, these rules
Yeah, they
now.
get all the time. They get everything.
They do. I don't know what's going on now. You get to play for 10 years straight in
You
college.
could
Like you
be
get all these years of
you could be like
eligibility.
25, 26 years old, still playing in college,
Right.
and
Exactly.
probably still have like 2 more years left.
Right. Right. Uh, but what was that like mindset? Like you going into your senior year? I mean, it's tough, right? You missed two
Mhm.
years, like mentally, like what were you thinking going back? Even I would even like go to the part where like going into your very first game. Like, were you nervous? Were you scared? Like, how were you feeling?
Um, I was very nervous. Just even going back to the first practice that I was able to actually fully 100% practice in. That was it was I don't know, I was felt like I was good to go and be out there and play, but I was also very nervous and scared that like I hope I don't do the same move that I did that tore my ACL, and I hope I don't do it again and it's just all over. Like first practice back in. So first game was, I mean, it was fine. I just had to get those, like put those worries behind me and just give it my all because my team still needed me. Like, if I'm out there and able, I I just need to just get it out my head and play. so we could get the win. And I don't know what our record was at that. I mean, I don't know. That's been
Yeah.
years ago, but um, yeah, I know for sure I was very nervous though.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like mindset plays a big role into recovery.
Hmm.
And you did that, right? You said that your senior year was one of your best, right? Years in college playing basketball. And I can just only imagine. And so what was it like one thing that like was it just positive thinking that like kept you going your entire year? Because I mean, it's easy to fall back into like oh man, I can, I could get hurt again, or, I can step wrong. It's just those thoughts, right? Like what made
Hmm.
you think more positive? Like what helped you get to that point?
Um, Definitely having positive thoughts and just my friends in my corner my friends and teammates in my corner that they were just always there and being that positive light for me to be able to, get back out there and like, girl, this is your last year. Make it the best one. And that's just what I did. The trainers were amazing and they pushed me to my fullest potential out there. My coach was good at just, keeping my head up and um, I don't know. It was a lot. And I had other factors for that senior year that made me, I feel like that made me like the pressures of um I lost my mom that my first semester of
Mm-hmm.
senior year. So losing her and then coming into playing my last season, and you just had to dig through and just push through it.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
Definitely was playing for her.
Yes, that definitely is definitely extra right? Knowing
Hmm.
that, your mom is smiling down on you and you want to do it for her, right? So,
Hmm.
that's definitely a beautiful thing that kind of, it's just really her driving and pushing you. And so now like going into like you graduate, now
Hmm.
you're in the real world. Okay. Like, what are you thinking? Like, okay, like, do you know exactly what you want to do when you graduate college? Like, how is that?
Um, I thought I did. It's definitely a transition. This it was a transition that you're not prepared for because we've been playing for basketball. Like, basketball was our job. I never had a job in high school or at 14 when you can get a job. Basketball was literally our job every day. Every weekend we were playing. So I didn't have I thought I knew what I wanted to do, like my double majored in criminal justice and psychology. And I didn't do, I mean, I did. I worked at Children's Hospital in the psych department, helping like with the kids to, get through their hurdles. But that's not like I didn't even know that that was like right around the corner from my house. Like I never even knew that that was there. Mental
Yeah.
health wasn't really like a big thing when we were growing up,
Yep.
like how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
yeah, I didn't know that I was going to be, that wasn't my direction that I was going in. I thought I was going to be like a detective, and then you needed to go through more schooling, and I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and then real estate came along. So it's definitely a transition that, um, from playing a sport and then going into the real world after you don't become a professional in the sport, I think it's something that's not talked about.
No, it's not.
It's not talked about, maybe like more than what it should. But it's just kind of like, I probably feel lost. I was already feeling lost because I had lost my mom. So,
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of like you're just going through the motions of every day and trying to figure out like a new a new you. Like
Yep.
it's not basketball anymore. It's not playing sports. You're not in college. You're not in school. Like this is what it is. So what will it be for me? And I had to, I think I transitioned well into going and becoming an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that. But I know, like for me, graduating, right? Of course, like you said, our identity is literally lumped into the sport. And of course, for us it's basketball. In the moment that we like for me, I stopped playing, I had no idea what was I was lost myself, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like I didn't have a job, never worked a job, didn't have an internship in
Yeah.
college. Like
Like that just wasn't in that it just wasn't
it wasn't like
the goals or like we didn't never the thought of what is life after basketball was never the thought in college.
not at all. And I think they need, and I don't know what they do now. I don't know, but at least for
Hmm.
me, like I wish that somebody would have prepared me for it, at least like having a conversation. And no fault of
Hmm.
my parents or anything, but I just like the only thing my mom was told me was get a good job, right? And
Yeah.
that's good. That's all she knew, right? Where you go to college, get a degree, and you get a good job. But I just didn't know what I was good at. Like, you
Yes,
know, it's it's like
for
I'm good in
sure.
basketball. That's literally like, do I need to be a basketball coach? Like, and nothing wrong with
Hmm.
that, but I just felt like that's all that I was good at.
Hmm.
And so me getting a college degree in IT, I didn't even do that right away. I did marketing. And so I was really like a extra layer of like, well, I'm not even using my degree. Like what what am I doing in
Yeah.
life?
Hmm.
Now I am. I kind of went back, but it was definitely a journey. And I think that we need to talk about that more. And I think more of like from a mental health standpoint of
Hmm.
like it's okay, like you just have to rediscover yourself.
Correct.
And I think that I threw myself into working, like I just because I was so dedicated into figuring out what I'm good at outside of basketball.
Hmm.
And I eventually found my way, but it took some time. But
Hmm.
I think if I would have had like some type of like a I don't know if it might have been a therapist. I don't know if that would have been good for me. But at least someone kind of coaching me from like a mental standpoint, it would have been helpful like long term because I don't know for you, I was like bouncing back and forth between should I go overseas, like at least give it a try just because
Hmm.
I was like, well, that's like my backup plan,
That'll be the
right?
next step. Yeah.
It's like I don't know, or should I go do something in IT? Like it was a whole bunch of like I don't know, but yeah, no, I definitely get that for sure, and that's why I'm big on entrepreneurship because it's like the skills that we have learned as an athlete. Like those foundational skills. Like I'm talking about
Hmm.
like the discipline, the consistency, like that's ingrained in us. And I think that's the right word, ingrained, but whatever. I'm gonna go with
Yeah.
it. um, but like for you, like what made you want to transition to be an entrepreneur?
Well, as you can maybe imagine, dealing with kids or working with kids in mental health is not for the weak. Um, it's just not for the weak. So starting that, and I got that job right out of college. Like I got maybe 4 months out of graduation, I started there and did that for 10 years of just being on the floor with, working with kids who have mental health issues and that they're trying to work through themselves. Um, and it was a lot. And I feel like by year two, I was kind of like, okay, now I got to figure out what else. Like, I don't want to do this forever. I got to figure out something else that I like to do, I can do forever. Um, and that was either do I move up within children's or do I stay in this role or do I figure out something else that I actually want to do and create my own business? And that's when real estate came into play, and I like sat on it. I sat on it for actually like probably like 4 more years after that.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I finally like, okay, Jada, this it's still here and it's still a want for you. So go ahead and do it. So I took my classes, passed my tests, and here we are. But I figure like since it was just it was a thought for the longest, and since it was still on my mind, I felt like that was my confirmation that that's the lane that I needed to go to next.
Did you do it like as you were working a job and then you
Mhm.
kind of slowly stepped away, or were you like, I'm quitting and I'm full into being a realtor?
No, I think I had just had my daughter. Um, yeah, I waited till like how I could make my life harder before I started. So I think my daughter was maybe going on 2 years old at the time. And that's when I was just like, okay, like I'm gonna start the classes. So I did the cl I started the classes while I was still working, and the place that I went to where was very flexible, so I was able to do every weekend for like 6 weeks to get the classes completed and then go for taking the test. And that was rough at that time. Like I remember my daughter was not sleeping through the night. It was like, and the classes are all day, Saturday and Sunday, and it was rough. That was a rough transition. But I was like, okay, it's only 6 weeks. I'll do it. I got to finish it without any sleep. But yeah, and it was very helpful because there were, and I did in-person classes because I felt like that was the last thing I did in college, and I never attempted to do anything online. I didn't know like how my mindset would be, even if I had the quiet room to go to at that time to even do online. But yeah, so I went into the class and I was able to get the feedback from people who were in all ages and all walks of life. So I think it was good.
That's amazing because I know for well, first of all, doing anything with young kids is tough. I think I'm in that. your
Big
your
ups to
children are
anybody.
older now. Well, I know your oldest is what, she's about,
She's 8. She'll be 9 in March.
and then you have a boy,
I
right?
know. It's crazy.
And then your
Yep. He just
son.
turned 5.
Oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness. Yes. Who's so adorable. I see them and they're just adorable. That's just me. Okay.
Thank
Anyway,
you.
side note, y'all. But um, and I know like for me, mine are younger. So mine are
Mm,
they'll be 4, my oldest, and then my youngest daughter will be 2. So I do understand like those moments where it's like you, and I don't know, this is me, but like you're building something, right? More, right? For them.
mm-hmm.
You want to be present in their life, but you do have to sacrifice in the front
Mm-hmm.
end where you might not be spending as much time as you would like with them.
Yeah.
And I know that's what I'm kind of going through now. It's like, my daughter knows, oh, you going downstairs to work? Yes, baby, I'm building a business, and she
Mm-hmm.
understands, but it's those moments where sometimes like I want you, right?
Yeah.
Do you go through that sometimes, building your business, having young children? Do you feel that a little bit that you might be sacrificing in some areas?
Um, I did in the very beginning. Because in the beginning it was, I felt like in the beginning I was hot and the I had all the clientele and I was trying to manage time with family and time with clients because they got to find houses and but your family wants you. So it was something that over time it didn't happen quickly. I just had to figure it out over time. But I had my fiance to that was there, and he was also building his business as well. And we were both still working full-time jobs where we just knew what the end goal was. So we were always very helpful with each other to, be able to help out when one was gone. But it's definitely you gotta have those boundaries. But it was a hard thing because you want to have clients and you want to have so many clients because you don't get paid until you close a house.
Yep.
So it's just I don't know. It was just hard at the beginning. And some people now like having mentors and learning from them, give yourself an off day and it'll be fine. Your clients that are there for you will be able to understand and know that there is a life outside of real estate. Like, yes, this is your job, but there's a life outside of real estate. So,
Yeah, 100%. I think like you said a really good point there about boundaries, setting boundaries.
mhm,
Because it's so easy to get caught up in the grind. Like, oh,
mhm,
I gotta work. I gotta get these clients, I gotta put my head down and just go. Um, but at the same time, one, of course, that could cause burnout over,
yes.
just being very stressful. And it is very important, right? To like, it could be a day or whatever it is take that time to do whatever you want to do. If it's spending time with your family, if it's going to that movie that you've been wanting to go to, it's that is equally as important
Hmm.
to grinding.
Yeah,
Because you can't do anything if you don't if you're mentally, if your mind is fogged, right? You got to get rest. So I definitely want the people to know that it's okay to grind, but at the same time you have to take time for yourself
for sure.
and,
That
and
was
take
one of my goals for 2025 to just have more self-care days because, you go and you go and you go, whether you're in mommy mode or work mode, it's never ending. So you have to fit in time for yourself somewhere.
Absolutely. Most, of course, parenthood is like the most rewarding
Hmm.
job that you can have. It's hard work, but it's the most rewarding. But then also having a business, right? That's also hard, but it's also rewarding too at the same time. And so have you like when you have like those low moments of like it could be days where it's just like, man, I just haven't found anyone wanting to buy a house, right? Or it could be a situation where a deal just falls through.
Hmm.
Um, what really helps you push through those moments of, just like lack of clients or just moments of like low moments in business?
Um, I just feel like it goes back to like having an injury.
Mm-hmm.
You just gotta push through and um sometimes as far as real estate, sometimes it's not always going to be clientele 100% every week. You're just getting new leads coming in. There were some times where there were like low moments and or a deal that I really needed fell through at the very last minute, and you just got to keep going, and eventually it's going to work out. It's just not God's timing at that point. So I don't know. You just got to keep going. And I just tried to continue to have those positive thoughts. And, there were some moments where I'm like, all right, he'll say it's not for me. I need to go get a job where I know that I'm going to get a check every 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And but I did it
Yeah.
and I continue. You have those thoughts when something is just not going your way. But at the end of the day, it ends up it's just where you need to be at that time.
100%. Yeah. And, I do believe that having no understanding and knowing what your why is
Hmm.
is also important too. Like I definitely believe that if you don't have God in the center of, first of all, your
Hmm.
life, I don't know what you're doing, but at the same
No,
time
yeah.
though, he needs to be your business partner. So allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you, it's not like it's easy, right? You're going to have those moments where, like you said, you might want you. Do I need to quit? Do I need to find a job? Like, I don't know.
Immediately.
Right. Oh, it's not meant to like the Holy Spirit is not going to be within you to like make the journey easier. But at the
Hmm.
same time, when you are led by the Spirit, that gives you purpose and that gives you fulfillment. And I do believe knowing what your why is, it makes it a little just slight a little bit easier when it comes to those low moments,
Hmm.
because you're doing it for bigger purposes than yourself. And I keep that on the forefront of my mind. And I think it's so important if you haven't done like any type of like self-talk, if you're not telling yourself affirmations or positive talk within yourself, is you're going to fall into a negative mind and you're going to quit. And I don't want you to
Hmm.
do that, right? If you're going to tell yourself something, why not let it be positive? you
Right.
know if you are spending all of this time being negative, negative, negative. This is something I learned in college, right? Like I spent so much of my time having negative thoughts about why my coach is doing this. Why is this happening to me? I know I deserve to be playing
Hmm.
more minutes than I should be, that I'm given, right? If I would have spent that time actually doing the actions of getting better, right?
Doing the work. Yeah.
Right, doing the work,
Yeah.
right? If I would have been spending even more time telling myself positivity, then who knows what my senior year would have been like, right? So
Hmm.
I say that all the time. Like our thoughts are very powerful in what we say to ourselves. And why not let it be positive, right?
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
so but anyways, but yeah, so Jada, like you're killing it now, right? I don't know if you know that, but
Yeah.
um I have been seeing all over our social media about, you've helped one person sell a house. You're getting awards. I mean, you're doing the thing in Ohio.
Mhm.
And so I know you have big dreams. I know you haven't, you're reaching for the stars. I mean, even beyond that, right? But like how does it feel to really help someone like finding their home, and even like how does it feel to even be, just getting awards? Like that's big time. At least for me, I think that
Yeah.
is huge. So how does that feel?
It feels great. It felt great to be recognized, and because I'm thinking like little old me, like nobody really knows me. I'm working with the clients that want to work with me, and that's it. And then when I won an award, like a Cincinnati award, um, that was big for me just because it made me feel like I was making an impact in other people's lives. Like I'm just like, oh, just, I'm helping them knock off a dream on their list, but it was a bigger picture once I won that award because it made me feel seen. Like I was doing a good thing, trying to get more people in homes. And it's not it's one of the biggest investments that you will probably make in your life. And I'm just happy to be a part of it.
And that's beautiful. And I have seen many stories just that where you are helping them find their dream home, find their home, and bless their families. And so, wrapping up this call and this conversation, Jada, where can if they want to buy a home, what is there a social media? How can they find you? Do you have
I
like a
got connections.
webinar or a workshop that you have? Okay, I think we are back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little better now.
Okay. All right. Okay, so kind of wrapping up. If somebody wants to buy a house from you, where can they find you? And then two, do you have any like workshops or webinars or anything that you host?
Yes. So you could find me, you can email me at jada.brown at cbrealty.com, or you can call me or text me anytime. It's 513-290-4471. And I am doing a workshop on February 8th from 1 to 3 at my office. And it's a home buying workshop to get those first time buyers in and just let them know that it's possible they can do it. And I'll have my lender there, my preferred lender there, and we'll go through all the steps of the home buying process so that you know every step that will come up, and nothing is going to be uh, a big oh, mine just went blank. Goodness gracious. But nothing will be a surprise for you in the process. I'll teach you the whole step by step of from the beginning when you get pre-approved all the way to the end to closing day. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, you heard it from her. I'll make sure to put all of that information in the description so you have that. If you are
Yeah.
looking to buy a home, in invest, do you do investment properties as well? You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Investment properties, all the things. If you're trying to find a house of some sort, hit my girl up, Jada. She will get you right in Ohio. And for you all that are listening, thank you all for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.